Jake Morrison stood in the docking bay of the Vrexian trading post and tried not to look as desperate as he felt. His ship, the old cargo hauler that had carried him and his crew across 3 sectors, was dying. The engine made sounds that no engine should make. The life support system leaked air faster than the recyclers could replace it. They had maybe 2 weeks before the whole thing became a floating coffin. The Vrexian merchant Kelroth knew it too. His 6 eyes gleamed with amusement as he watched Jake pretend to consider other options. There were no other options. Everyone on this station knew the humans were broke. "Captain Morrison," Kelroth said, his voice coming through the translator device on his chest. "Why do you waste my time? You need a ship." "I have a ship. The price is very fair." Fair was not the word Jake would have used. Kelroth wanted everything they had, including their current ship for scrap, plus 3 years of cargo contracts at rates that would barely keep them fed. But what choice did they have? Lisa Chang, his engineer, touched his arm. She was a small woman with grease permanently under her fingernails and eyes that never missed a detail. "Let me see it first," she said quietly. Kelroth made a sound like water going down a drain. His species found human caution hilarious. Yes. Inspect the worthless junk. Bay 7. Take your time." He waved a long arm toward the far end of the station. They walked through the crowded market section of the trading post. Aliens of a dozen species haggled over goods and services. The smell was overwhelming, a mix of strange foods and stranger bodies. Jake had been doing this for 5 years now, ever since Earth's economy crashed and working in space became the only way to survive. He still was not used to it. Bay 7 was in the old section of the station. The lights flickered. The air tasted stale. When the doors opened, Jake saw the ship and his heart sank a little lower. It was big, he would give it that. Maybe twice the size of their current vessel. But it looked ancient. The hull was pitted with micrometeorite strikes. The registration numbers were so faded he could barely read them. When he did read them, he blinked in surprise. "It is human-made," Lisa said, walking forward with her scanner already out. "Old style. Maybe 100 years old, maybe more." "Why would humans abandon a ship out here?" asked Ben Hughes, their communications officer. He was young, maybe 25, with the kind of face that still looked surprised by everything space threw at them. "Lots of reasons," Jake said. "Maybe they died. Maybe they sold it and moved on. Maybe it broke down and they could not fix it." They walked up the loading ramp. The interior was dark until Lisa found the emergency power switch. Lights came on in strips along the ceiling, pale and flickering. The cargo hold was enormous, much bigger than it needed to be for a ship this size. "That is strange," Lisa muttered, running her scanner over the walls. "These holds are reinforced."
"Heavy shielding."
"Why would a cargo hauler need this much protection?" Chris Alvarez, their pilot, whistled low. "Look at this cockpit. Old-school manual controls. I have not seen interfaces like this except in museums." Jake sat in the captain's chair. It creaked. The displays were dark, but when Lisa rerouted power, they came to life one by one. The ship's computer was ancient, running on systems that predated the neural interfaces everyone used now. "Can you fly it?" Jake asked Chris. "Can I fly it?" "Boss, I can fly anything. But this thing is going to be slow. Real slow. These engines are practically steam-powered compared to what we are used to." They spent 3 hours going through the ship. Lisa disappeared into the engine room and emerged, shaking her head. "The reactor is solid. Old fusion design, but well-maintained. Someone took care of the ship. But the fuel system is weird." "Weird how?" Jake asked. "It uses hydrocarbon derivatives. Ancient fuel type. Probably from when humans first started exploring space. But look at these tanks." She pulled up a schematic on her portable display. "They are massive. Way too big for the fuel this ship would need. And they have shielding that makes no sense for simple fuel storage." "Maybe they carried volatile cargo," Ben suggested. "Maybe," Lisa said. But she did not sound convinced. They returned to Kelroth's office. The Vrexian was eating something that looked alive and smelled worse. He did not bother to stop when they entered. "Well?" he asked, his mouth full. "You see? Worthless human junk. But it flies, probably. The hull is good. That is more than you have now, yes?" Jake wanted to negotiate. He wanted to walk away and find another option. But Lisa caught his eye and gave a tiny nod. The ship would work. It was not good, but it would work. "We will take it," Jake said. Kelroth's eyes all widened in what might have been surprise or might have been glee. "Excellent. Sign here, here, and here. He pushed a data pad across the desk. Jake read the contract 3 times. It was brutal. They would owe Kelroth for years. But they would be alive for years, which was better than the alternative. He signed. Wonderful doing business, Kelroth said. He stood up, all 3 meters of him unfolding like a giant insect. A word of advice, human to human. Oh wait, you are human and I am Vrexian. Never mind. He laughed at his own joke, that terrible draining sound again. The ship is called the Wanderer. Previous owners were humans too. They left it here 5 years ago and never came back. Probably dead. Space is dangerous, you know. Why did you buy it if it is so worthless? Jake asked. I did not buy it. They paid me to dock it. After 2 years of no contact, salvage laws say it is mine. Now it is yours. Try not to die in it too quickly. I would hate to lose my contracted labor. He laughed again and waved them away. They moved their belongings onto the Wanderer over the next 2 days. It was not much. 5 people did not accumulate a lot when they spent their lives moving between stations. Clothes, personal items, tools, and weapons. Everything fit in 3 cargo containers. On the morning of the 3rd day, Lisa came to Jake's cabin. She looked tired. She had been working on the ship's systems nonstop, trying to understand what they had bought. I found something, she said, in the fuel reservoir control system. There is a sealed compartment. The computer will not tell me what is inside. It is locked with some kind of old military encryption. Military? Jake sat up straighter. Are you sure? The code structure matches Earth defense protocols. Old ones, but I recognize the signature. I tried to crack it, but it is way beyond my skill level. Jake thought about that. A human military ship disguised as a worthless cargo hauler, abandoned at a remote trading post. It did not make sense. Can Ben break the encryption? He asked. Maybe. He did some intelligence work before he went civilian. But Jake, if this is military, there could be problems. Big problems. We already have big problems, Jake said. What is one more? Lisa smiled, tired but genuine. That is why I like working for you. You are too stupid to worry properly. Get Ben on it, Jake said, but quietly. I do not want anyone else knowing about this. Not yet. Lisa nodded and left. Jake sat in his cabin looking at the metal walls of his new ship. The Wanderer. What secrets was she hiding? And why did he have the feeling that Kelroth's joke about the ship being worthless was about to become very, very unfunny? Outside his window, the stars waited, as they always did. Cold, distant, and full of possibilities that could save them or kill them, sometimes both at once. The Wanderer's engines came online with a sound like distant thunder. They were leaving the Vrexian trading post behind. Whatever came next, at least they would face it in a ship that did not leak air faster than they could breathe it. That was something. 3 weeks in space changed things. The Wanderer was slow, just as Chris had predicted, but she was steady. The life support did not leak. The engines did not make horrible dying sounds. After years of flying in ships that barely held together, the crew found themselves relaxing into something that almost felt like routine. They took cargo jobs, small stuff, medical supplies to a colony on Deneb Station, mining equipment to an asteroid facility, machine parts to a repair dock near the outer rim. The pay was terrible, just enough to buy fuel and food, but they were not dying. For people like them, that counted as winning. Ben Hughes spent every spare moment working on the encrypted files Lisa had found. He set up his equipment in what used to be a storage closet, surrounding himself with displays and processing units that hummed day and night. Sometimes Jake would walk by and see him staring at code that looked like nothing but random numbers. Any progress? Jake asked on the 3rd week. Ben looked up. His eyes were red from lack of sleep. It is old military encryption. Really old. From before the expansion wars. The good news is that means the processing power they used was limited. The bad news is whoever designed this knew what they were doing. Can you break it or not? Give me another week. Jake gave him 5 days. Then he gave him 2 more. On the 7th day, Ben called everyone to his closet workspace. They crowded in, 5 people in a space meant for one. I got it, Ben said. His voice was hoarse. Took me this long because I had to rebuild the decryption algorithms from scratch. But I got it, he pressed a button. A display screen filled with text. Military file headers. Classification codes. Project names. Lisa leaned forward, her eyes scanning fast. Prometheus Protocol. What is that? Ben pulled up another file. an Earth Defense Initiative project. Started 43 years ago. Classified above top secret. They were experimenting with something called dark matter containment. Dark matter? Chris said. Like the stuff physicists talk about? The invisible mass that makes up most of the universe? Exactly that, Ben said. Except these guys figured out how to harvest it. There was a research station called Kepler Station. They pulled dark matter from the fabric of space itself, stored it, tried to use it as an energy source. Jake felt something cold settle in his stomach. Tried? What happened? The station exploded, destroyed completely. Everyone died. The project was shut down immediately. All the dark matter was supposed to be lost in the explosion. Ben paused, his finger hovering over the next file. Except it was not lost. Not all of it. He opened a schematic. It showed a ship. Their ship. The Wanderer. But the diagram highlighted the massive fuel reservoirs Lisa had found strange. They hid it, Lisa whispered. They took the dark matter from Kepler Station and hid it inside fuel tanks. Disguised it as ordinary cargo ships. 12 ships, Ben said. The Prometheus Protocol created 12 vessels. They scattered them across human space, made them look like old cargo haulers. The dark matter is suspended in containment fields inside the fuel reservoirs. As long as the power stays on, it stays stable. Safe. Safe? Jake asked. You just said the research station exploded. That was different. They were trying to extract energy from it. These ships are just storing it. The containment is passive. It does not interact with the dark matter, just keeps it separate from normal space. Chris laughed, but there was no humor in it. So we are flying around with universe-destroying material in our fuel tanks. That is great. That is just great. How much energy are we talking about? Lisa asked. Her engineer's mind was already working on the problem. Ben pulled up more files. According to these calculations, the dark matter in our reservoir could power Earth's entire electrical grid for 50 years, or run this ship at maximum speed for decades without refueling, or if released improperly, create a gravitational collapse that would destroy everything in a radius of 10,000 kilometers. The room went very quiet. Why? Jake said finally. Why hide it? Why not just destroy it if it was so dangerous? Because destroying dark matter is impossible, Ben said. At least with current technology. You cannot blow it up. You cannot burn it. You cannot dump it into a star. It just exists. So they hid it, spread it out, made it impossible to find unless you knew where to look. Lisa was already at her workstation, pulling up the ship's systems. If we could build a proper converter, if we could extract the energy safely, we could do anything. Go anywhere. This ship would be the fastest thing in space. Or we could accidentally kill everyone on board and create a black hole, Chris said. There is that risk. Yes, Lisa admitted. Jake looked at the files on Ben's screen, at the classification markings, at the long list of people who had died when Kepler Station exploded, at the 12 ship names, including the Wanderer. Does anyone else know about this? He asked. No one living, Ben said. Everyone connected to the Prometheus Protocol is either dead or listed as missing. The project was buried deep. Even if someone in Earth's military remembered it existed, they think all 12 ships were lost or scrapped decades ago. So what do we do? Chris asked. That was the question. They could report it to Earth authorities. Turn the ship over to the government. Get a small reward maybe, or maybe just get debriefed and forgotten. They could try to sell it. Someone would pay billions for this kind of power. The Rexian Consortium. The Krell Dominion. Any of the major powers would kill for this technology, or they could keep it, study it, figure out if Lisa's idea was even possible. I need time to think, Jake said. They dispersed, each going to different parts of the ship. Jake ended up in the cargo hold, staring at the floor beneath which the massive reservoirs waited. Somewhere down there, trapped in fields of energy, was enough power to change everything, or destroy everything. He thought about Kelroth laughing as he sold them a worthless ship. The alien had no idea. None of them had any idea. Lisa found him an hour later. She sat down next to him on the cargo bay floor. I could do it, she said without preamble. Build a converter, I mean. It would take time. Maybe months. And I would need parts. Expensive parts. But theoretically it is possible. And the risk? High, maybe 10% chance of catastrophic failure. But Jake, we are talking about unlimited power. We could go anywhere in the galaxy. Never worry about fuel. Never worry about money. We could explore places no human has ever seen. We could also die horribly. We are going to die eventually anyway. At least this way we would die doing something amazing. Jake smiled despite himself. That was Lisa, always optimistic. Always ready to tinker with things that should not be tinkered with. Let me think about it, he said. But fate, as it often did in space, did not give him time to think. The next morning, alarms woke the crew from sleep. Ben was already at his station when Jake reached the bridge. We got a problem, Ben said. 3 ships just dropped out of faster-than-light travel behind us. They are closing fast. Pirates? Jake asked. Worse. Krell. The Krell Dominion was not officially at war with humanity, but they were not friends either. They were a species built for combat, with ships that matched their aggressive nature. They took what they wanted and asked questions never. Why are they after us? Chris asked, already working the navigation controls. We are not carrying anything valuable. Ben's fingers flew across his console. I am picking up a transmission, coded. Military frequency. It was sent from the Vrexian trading post 3 weeks ago. When we bought the ship, Lisa said. Someone was monitoring the station, Ben continued. They intercepted communications about an Earth military asset. About dark matter. The Krell must have been listening. Jake felt ice in his veins. They know what we have. They suspect what we have, Ben corrected. But that is enough. They are hailing us now. Put them through. The display screen showed a Krell warrior. His face was angular, covered in plates of what looked like natural armor. His eyes were solid black. Human vessel, the Krell said in perfect English. You will stop your engines. You will prepare to be boarded. Your ship and all cargo will be confiscated by order of the Krell Dominion. Resistance will be met with destruction. The communication cut off. Options? Jake asked. We can run, Chris said, but they are faster. We got maybe 10 minutes before they catch us. We can fight, Lisa said, but her voice said she knew how that would end. Or we can give them what they want, Ben said quietly. Jake looked at his crew, at the people who had trusted him, at the ship that was supposed to save them but might have just killed them. Then he looked at Lisa. How fast can you activate that converter? Her eyes went wide. Jake, I told you. It needs months of work. If I try to activate it now, it might explode. Might, Jake said. Not will. What are the odds? Lisa ran calculations in her head. 50-50. Either it works or we die. Better than 0, Jake said. Do it, Lisa ran. Lisa ran through the corridors of the Wanderer like her life depended on it, which it did. Behind her, she heard the sounds of the Krell interceptors getting closer. Their weapons fire lit up the viewports, brilliant flashes of energy that came closer with each shot. The engine room was deep in the ship's belly. Lisa jumped down the last ladder rather than climb it, landing hard on the metal floor. Her toolkit flew from her shoulder and scattered across the deck. She ignored it and went straight for the main power distribution panel. Lisa, talk to me. Jake's voice came through her communicator. What do you need? Time, she gasped, pulling up the reservoir controls. I need to bypass 12 safety systems, reroute the containment field generators, and build a power conversion matrix that should not be possible. How long? 15 minutes. Maybe 20. You got 8. They are about to be in firing range. Lisa swore and started working. Her hands moved automatically, muscle memory from 10,000 hours of engineering work taking over while her mind raced ahead. The dark matter reservoir was stable, that was good. The containment fields were at full power. Also good. But converting that stored potential into usable energy without creating a runaway reaction? That was the impossible part. She pulled circuit boards from the backup systems, stripped wires from non-essential equipment, grabbed components from 3 different systems and started jamming them together in ways they were never designed for. It was horrible engineering. Any professor would have failed her for this. But horrible engineering that worked was better than perfect engineering that took too long. 5 minutes, Jake said. His voice was tight. They fired a warning shot across our bow. Next one will not be a warning. Lisa's fingers were bleeding. She had cut them on sharp metal edges and not noticed. The converter was taking shape, a mess of wires and circuits and components that looked like it belonged in a junkyard. She connected it to the reservoir feed, connected that to the power distribution network. Her hands were shaking. 3 minutes, Jake said. I know, Lisa muttered. She ran a quick diagnostic. The results made her want to cry. 40% chance of stable operation, 30% chance of mild failure that would just shut down the ship, 30% chance of catastrophic failure that would kill them all. She thought about telling Jake, decided against it. What would that change? I am activating it now, she said into her communicator. Wait, Jake said. Lisa, wait. No time to wait. She pressed the activation button. For a moment, nothing happened. The engine room was quiet except for the normal hum of the reactor. Lisa held her breath. Had it failed? Had it not even started? Then the lights went out. Darkness filled the engine room, absolute and terrifying. Lisa felt her heart stop. System failure. Complete power loss. They were dead in space, and the Krell were seconds away from boarding them. Then the lights came back on. But they were different. Brighter. Cleaner. The normal yellowish glow of the old lighting system was gone, replaced by something pure and white. The engines started to whine. It was a sound Lisa had never heard from them before, a rising pitch that climbed higher and higher. The deck plates vibrated under her feet. Through the walls, she heard other systems coming online, power flooding through conduits that had been half dead for decades. Lisa? Jake's voice was awed. What did you do? She pulled herself up and ran back to the ladder. Her legs felt weak. She climbed, hand over hand, back toward the bridge. When she got there, the rest of the crew was staring at their displays like they did not believe what they were seeing. Power output is off the scale, Chris said. I have never seen readings like this. The engines are at 200% capacity and still have reserves. The Krell are firing, Ben announced. On the main screen, Lisa saw the 3 Krell interceptors. They were close now, close enough to see the weapon ports opening. Energy beams lanced out, bright green streaks that crossed the distance in seconds. Brace for impact, Jake said. But the impact did not come. The Krell weapons struck the Wanderer's shields, and the shields held. Not just held, they absorbed the energy and glowed brighter. The old deflector system, barely functional before, was now operating at levels that should have been impossible. They are charging for another shot, Ben said. Then we need to move, Jake said. Chris, punch it. Chris hesitated only a second before engaging the engines. The Wanderer lurched forward with acceleration that threw everyone against their restraints. Lisa felt her stomach drop as the ship went from barely moving to faster than she could believe. The view screen showed the Krell interceptors falling behind, shrinking to distant points of light. What is our speed? Jake asked. Chris checked his instruments twice before answering. We are at 0.8 light speed. 0.9. We are still accelerating. That is impossible, Ben said. It is happening, Chris replied. We are going faster than our fastest engines should allow. Faster than most military ships can go. The Krell were trying to keep up. Lisa could see them on the sensors, pushing their ships to maximum speed. But they were falling behind. The Wanderer was simply faster. They are giving up, Ben said. The Krell ships are breaking off pursuit. For a long moment, no one spoke. They just watched the sensors as the 3 Krell interceptors turned and disappeared back the way they had come. The threat was over. They had escaped. Lisa, Jake said finally. You did it. Lisa looked at her hands. They were still shaking. I did something. I am not sure what. But we are alive, so that is good. Can you tell me what is happening down there? Jake asked. Why are we so fast? The converter is working, Lisa said slowly, trying to put her thoughts into words. The dark matter in the reservoir is being converted into energy. Pure energy. More energy than I thought possible. It is feeding into all our systems. Engines, shields, life support, everything. The ship is running on power that makes our old fusion reactor look like a candle. Is it stable? Chris asked. Are we going to explode? Lisa checked her portable display, pulling up the engine room readouts. I do not know. The containment fields are holding. The power flow is steady, but this is a jury-rigged system built in 8 minutes. It should not be working at all, but it is. I cannot tell you why. How long will it last? Jake asked. Hours maybe. Days if we are lucky. The components I used are not designed for this kind of power load. They will burn out eventually. Jake nodded slowly. Then we need a plan. We need a place where you can do this right. Build a proper converter with proper parts. Somewhere safe. There is no safe place, Ben said. Not now. The Krell know what we have. They will tell others. Everyone will come looking for us. Then we need allies, Jake said. People who can protect us while Lisa does the work. Lisa was only half listening. She was looking at the data from the converter. watching the power flows and conversion rates. Something was not right. The dark matter was being used up faster than her calculations predicted. At this rate, they had maybe 72 hours before the reservoir was empty. "Jake," she said, "we have another problem." "Of course we do," Jake said. "What is it?" "The dark matter is depleting faster than it should. I built the converter to use tiny amounts, but something is wrong. Maybe the containment fields. Maybe the conversion matrix. I do not know. But if we keep running at this speed, we will burn through everything in 3 days." "Can you slow it down?" Chris asked. "I can try. But if I start messing with it while we are moving, I might destabilize the whole system. We could lose power completely." Jake thought about that. Lisa could see the gears turning in his head. He was weighing options, calculating risks. That was what made him a good captain. He did not panic. He just worked the problem. "Where is the nearest station?" he asked Ben. Ben checked the navigation charts. "Sanctuary Station. It is a free port, neutral territory, run by an alliance of minor species. No major power controls it. We could reach it in 6 hours at our current speed. Will they help us?" Chris asked. "Maybe," Ben said. "Sanctuary has a reputation for taking in people the major powers do not like. Rebels, refugees, smugglers. If anyone will give us shelter, it is them." "Set course for Sanctuary," Jake said. "Lisa, do what you can to stabilize the converter without shutting us down. If we can make it to the station, we will figure out the rest." Lisa nodded and headed back to the engine room. She had bought them time with her desperate improvisation. Now she had to make it last long enough to matter. Behind her, she heard Jake talking to the crew, making plans, trying to figure out what came next. The Wanderer flew through space faster than any ship of her class had a right to go. In her fuel reservoirs, dark matter bled away, converted into energy that lit up the black between stars. And in stations across the sector, messages were being sent. The Krell had seen something impossible. A human cargo ship that outran military interceptors. Word was spreading, the hunt had begun. Sanctuary Station appeared on their sensors like a small moon, a massive structure hanging in empty space between star systems. It was old, older than human civilization, built by a species called the Architects who had disappeared thousands of years ago. The station was a sphere 3 kilometers across, covered in patterns that might have been writing or art or something else entirely. "They are hailing us," Ben said. "Sanctuary Control wants to know our business." "Tell them we need emergency docking and repairs," Jake said. "And that we can pay." That last part was a lie. They had barely enough credits to fuel a shuttle, let alone pay for docking at a major station. But Jake figured they would deal with that problem when it came. The station gave them clearance. Chris guided the Wanderer through the massive docking doors and into a bay that looked like it could hold 10 ships their size. As they settled onto the landing pad, Lisa was already gathering her tools. "The converter is failing," she said. "I give it maybe 12 more hours. After that, we are back to normal power." "If that. Will we still have main systems?" Jake asked. "Yes, but we will be slow, vulnerable, and everyone in this sector is going to be looking for us." They locked down the ship and headed for the station's main level. The interior of Sanctuary was a strange mix of ancient architecture and modern additions. The walls showed the same mysterious patterns as the exterior, but human and alien shops had been built into spaces that were clearly never meant for commerce. A woman met them at the docking bay entrance. She was human, maybe 50 years old, with gray hair pulled back and eyes that missed nothing. She wore practical clothes and a sidearm that looked well used. "I am Kate Sullivan," she said without preamble. "Administrator of Sanctuary. You are Captain Morrison and crew of the Wanderer. We need to talk." Jake felt his hand move toward his own weapon. "About what?" "About what you are carrying. About why the Krell Dominion just put out a priority alert for your ship. About the fact that you outran 3 military interceptors." Kate smiled, but it was not a friendly expression. "Come with me. We will talk somewhere private." She led them through crowded corridors to a conference room deep in the station. The walls here were clear, showing the stars beyond. Kate closed the door and activated a privacy field. The air shimmered briefly. "Before you lie to me," Kate said, sitting down at the table, "you should know that I recognize your ship. I was there when it was built. I was part of the team that loaded the cargo." Jake felt his heart sink. "The Prometheus Protocol," Kate nodded. "I was a junior engineer on the project. We thought all 12 ships were lost or destroyed. When your ship signature showed up on our sensors, I could not believe it. The Wanderer. Reservoir 7. Last seen in human space 43 years ago. How do you know all this? Lisa asked. Because I helped design the containment systems. I know exactly what you have in those fuel tanks. Dark matter. Enough to power a small fleet or destroy a solar system, depending on how you use it. Kate leaned forward. The question is, what are you planning to do with it? Jake looked at his crew. They all looked back at him. This was his call. We are trying to survive, he said finally. That is all. We bought a ship we thought was junk. Found out what it really was. Then the Krell came after us. We are not looking for trouble. We just want to live. No one just wants to live, Kate said. Everyone wants something. Power, money, revenge. What do you want? To not be hunted, Lisa said. To be able to fly without worrying about warships coming after us. Is that so hard to understand? Kate studied them for a long moment. Then she stood and walked to the window, looking out at the stars. I left Earth 30 years ago, she said quietly, after the Prometheus protocol was shut down. After Kepler Station exploded. I could not stay, could not be part of a government that would hide that kind of power, and then pretend it never existed. So I came out here, found sanctuary, helped build it into something that matters. Why are you telling us this? Jake asked. Because I know what you have, and I know what it could do. Kate turned to face them. Sanctuary is more than just a trading post. It is a coalition. 50 minor species who are tired of being pushed around by the major powers. The Krell, the Vrexians, all the others who think they own space. We want independence. We want protection. We want to matter. And you think our ship can give you that? Ben asked. Not your ship, Kate said. What is inside it? Jake, this station was built by the architects. They were more advanced than any current species. Their technology is scattered across the galaxy, but most of it is dormant. Do you know why? No power, Lisa said, suddenly understanding. They built systems that need more energy than current technology can provide. Exactly, Kate said. Sanctuary has weapon systems. Defense grids, shields that could protect this entire sector. But they have been dark for 1,000 years because we cannot power them. Until now, Jake saw where this was going. You want the dark matter. I want a partnership, Kate corrected. Lisa, you built a converter in 8 minutes under pressure. Imagine what you could do with time, with resources, with help from engineers who actually understand the architect technology. You could build something stable, something safe. And in return, we protect you, give you a home, a place where the Krell and everyone else cannot touch you. Why should we trust you? Chris asked. Because you do not have a choice, Kate said bluntly. Your converter is failing. You said so yourself. In a few hours, you will be a slow cargo ship with a target on your back. Without help, you will be dead by the end of the week. She was right, and they all knew it. Jake looked at his crew again. Lisa nodded slowly. Ben shrugged. Chris gave a thumbs up. What do you need from us? Jake asked. Everything, Kate said. Full access to the ship. All the data from the Prometheus protocol. Lisa's expertise. And trust. I need you to trust me when I say that what we build here could change everything. Over the next 3 days, Lisa worked with Kate's engineers to stabilize the converter. They moved equipment from the station's engineering bays into the Wanderer, installed better containment fields, built a proper power distribution network. It was still jury-rigged, still held together with improvisation, but it was better, much better. On the 4th day, they did a test. Connected the converter to Sanctuary's main power grid, let the dark matter energy flow into systems that had been dead for a millennium. The station came alive. Lights appeared in sections that had been dark. Displays activated showing information in languages no one could read. Deep below them, in the heart of Sanctuary, ancient weapon systems began to charge. It is working, one of Kate's engineers whispered, staring at his readouts in awe. The architect systems are accepting the power. They are coming online, but they were not fast enough. While they worked, the Krell had not been idle. Warlord Shakros, the commander who had lost the Wanderer, was not the type to accept defeat. He gathered his forces, called in favors, assembled a battle group of 12 warships, and now they were here. Ben's voice came over the station-wide intercom. All hands battle stations. Krell fleet entering the sector. Estimated time to weapons range 40 minutes. Jake found Kate on the command deck. She was coordinating with her defense teams, pulling up tactical displays, preparing for what was coming. Can we fight them? He asked. I do not know, Kate said. We have power now. The architect weapons are coming online, but we have never used them. Do not know how they work. Do not know if they even still work after all this time. So we are about to find out if a 1,000-year-old defense system can stop a modern battle group. Yes. Great, Jake said. Just great. The Krell fleet appeared on sensors. 12 ships in attack formation. They did not bother to hail the station. Did not issue demands. They just opened fire. Energy beams and missiles crossed the space between the fleet and Sanctuary. Kate's people had raised the old shields, hoping they would work. The weapons struck the barrier and exploded in brilliant flashes of light. The shields held, more than held. The architect technology absorbed the energy and fed it back into the system. The shields actually got stronger with each hit. Return fire, Kate ordered. Deep in Sanctuary's structure, weapons that had not fired since the architects walked the galaxy came alive. Gravitational beams lanced out, invisible but devastating. They struck the first Krell ship and crushed it like an empty can. Metal twisted. Hull plates collapsed inward. The ship imploded, torn apart by forces it could not resist. The Krell fleet scattered, trying to avoid the impossible weapons. But the architect systems tracked them effortlessly. Another beam fired. Another Krell ship died. Then another. Warlord Shakros, watching his fleet destroyed, made a choice that saved his life. He ordered a retreat. The surviving Krell ships turned and ran, jumping to faster than light speed as soon as they cleared the minimum safe distance. Sanctuary had won. The battle lasted 11 minutes. When it was over, 8 Krell warships were debris fields and 4 had escaped to tell the story. Sanctuary Station hung in space, its ancient weapons cooling down, its shields still glowing with absorbed energy. Jake stood on the command deck and watched the tactical display clear. No more enemy contacts, no more threats. For the moment, they were safe. That should send a message, Kate said beside him. She looked tired but satisfied. The Krell will think twice before coming back. They will tell everyone what they saw, Ben said from his station. Every power in the sector will know about Sanctuary now. About the weapons, about the power source. Good, Kate said. Let them know. Let them understand that the minor species are not defenseless anymore. But Jake knew it was not that simple. Word would spread, yes, but word would also reach Earth, reach the Vrexian Consortium, reach every government and organization that might want what they had. The battle they had just won was only the beginning. Over the following weeks, Jake's prediction proved correct. Ships arrived at Sanctuary, not warships, at least not at first. Diplomatic vessels, trade delegations, representatives from a dozen species, all wanting to talk about what had happened. All wanting to know how Sanctuary had defeated a Krell battle group. Kate played it carefully. She did not lie, but she did not tell the whole truth either. She talked about architect technology, about research and development, about the coalition of minor species working together. She never mentioned the dark matter, never mentioned the Wanderer or the Prometheus Protocol. Jake kept his crew busy. Lisa worked on improving the converter, making it more stable, more efficient. Chris trained with Sanctuary's defense forces, teaching them human tactics. Ben monitored communications, watching for threats. They tried to stay useful, tried to earn their place. It was Ben who found the next piece of the puzzle. He was searching through old databases, looking for anything related to the Prometheus Protocol, when he found a pattern. Jake, you need to see this, Ben said one morning. He pulled up a star map on the main display. Sanctuary is not unique. The architects built 12 stations like this across this sector. All of them dormant, all of them waiting for power. 12 stations, Lisa said slowly. 12 ships in the Prometheus Protocol. Exactly, Ben said. I do not think that is a coincidence. I think whoever designed the protocol knew about the architect stations. They were preparing, creating a network. One ship could power one station. Where are the other ships? Jake asked. Ben highlighted points on the map. I cross-referenced the Prometheus protocol files with salvage records, insurance claims, and abandoned ship databases. I found 8 of them. Most are in junkyards. 2 are being used as stationary storage units. 1 is a restaurant on a colony world. Nobody knows what they really are. Kate entered the command deck in time to hear the last part. A restaurant? The owner bought it cheap and parked it permanently, Ben said. Uses the cargo hold to serve food. Has no idea he is sitting on enough power to destroy a planet. We need to get those ships, Lisa said. All of them. Before someone else figures out what they are. Kate nodded slowly. I agree. But we need to be careful. If we start buying up old cargo ships, people will notice. They will ask questions. Then we do not buy them, Jake said. We salvage them. We steal them. We do whatever it takes. Those ships belong to humanity, to the people who need them, not to junkyards and restaurants. Over the next 6 months, Jake and his crew became something they never expected to be, treasure hunters. They tracked down the old Prometheus Protocol ships one by one. Sometimes they bought them legally. Sometimes they stole them in the middle of the night. Once they had to fight off pirates who had claimed an abandoned ship as their base. Each ship they found they brought back to Sanctuary. Each reservoir of dark matter they used to power another architect station. The network grew, 8 stations, 9, 10. Each one became a safe haven for the minor species. A place where they could live and trade without the major powers controlling them. The major powers noticed, of course. The Vrexian Trade Consortium sent ambassadors to demand an explanation. The Krell Dominion threatened military action. Several other species filed formal complaints with the Galactic Council. Earth's response came in the form of Admiral Claire Rodriguez, a woman with more medals than patience and a reputation for not backing down. She arrived at Sanctuary with 3 destroyers and a message from Earth's government. Kate and Jake met her in a conference room that now felt too small for the conversation they were about to have. You are playing a dangerous game, Admiral Rodriguez said without preamble. Activating architect technology, challenging the major powers. Do you understand what war would mean for Earth? Do you understand what slavery means for the minor species? Kate replied, because that is what the current system is. The strong do whatever they want. The weak suffer. We are trying to change that. With stolen military technology, the Admiral said. The Prometheus Protocol was classified. Those ships belonged to Earth Defense. Those ships were abandoned, Jake said. Written off. Left to rot in junkyards. We gave them purpose. Admiral Rodriguez studied them both. I have orders to confiscate the ships. To shut down this operation. To bring you back to Earth for debriefing. And are you going to follow those orders? Kate asked. That depends, the Admiral said. How much dark matter do you have left? How many stations can you power? The question surprised Jake. Then why do you want to know? Because Earth's government is not stupid, Admiral Rodriguez said. They see what you are building here. A coalition of minor species with access to architect technology. A network that could shift the balance of power in this entire region. That makes the major powers nervous, which means they might come after Earth. So you want to shut us down to protect Earth? Lisa said. No, the Admiral said. I want to understand what you have. Because if the Krell and the Vrexians decide to attack Earth over this, I need to know if what you are building is worth defending. Kate and Jake exchanged looks. This was a gamble. But they had been gambling since the day they bought the Wanderer. We have recovered 11 of the 12 ships, Kate said. 11 reservoirs of dark matter. We have powered 10 architect stations. Each station can defend a volume of space roughly the size of a solar system. Each one is a safe harbor for species that have nowhere else to go. And each one changes the equation. The major powers cannot just roll over the minor species anymore. They have to negotiate. They have to recognize that we exist. And if the major powers unite against you, Admiral Rodriguez asked, then we fight, Jake said. And we hope that Earth remembers that we are still human. That this technology came from human ingenuity, from people who were desperate enough to gamble everything on a worthless ship. Admiral Rodriguez sat back in her chair. She was quiet for a long time, thinking. Finally, she spoke. I will tell Earth's government that the Prometheus Protocol ships were destroyed, lost in accidents. I will tell them that the architect stations are being powered by technology the minor species developed themselves. I will tell them that Earth should stay out of it. Why would you lie for us? Kate asked. Because I was there when Kepler Station exploded, Admiral Rodriguez said quietly. I lost friends in that disaster. The government buried the whole project rather than learn from it, rather than figure out if the dark matter could be used safely. You are doing what we should have done 40 years ago. I will not let politics destroy that. She stood to leave, then paused. One more thing. Where is the 12th ship? We do not know, Ben said. We have searched everywhere. No records. No sightings. It is just gone. Find it, the Admiral said, before someone else does. Before someone who does not care about protecting people gets their hands on it, she left. Her destroyers departed the system, and Earth's official position became that Sanctuary Station and its sister stations were an internal matter for the Minor Species Coalition. Not Earth's problem. Not Earth's concern, it was not much. But it was enough. Jake Morrison stood in the docking bay of Sanctuary and looked at the Wanderer. The old cargo ship that had changed everything. The worthless junk that had hidden impossible power. She looked the same as the day he had first seen her. Beaten up. Worn down. Unremarkable. But she had carried them across the galaxy. Had outrun Krell warships. Had powered the first Architect Station in 1,000 years. She had done all that because someone decades ago had hidden something precious inside her, and trusted that someday, someone would find it and use it well. Lisa joined him, wiping grease from her hands. The converter is running perfectly now. Stable power output. No fluctuations. I could not have done better if I had a year and unlimited resources. You did it in 8 minutes with spare parts, Jake said. I would say that is pretty good. We did it, Lisa corrected. All of us. You made the choice to activate it. Chris flew us through the escape. Ben found the information we needed. We are a team. Some team, Jake said. A bunch of desperate salvagers who stumbled into saving the galaxy. We did not save the galaxy, Lisa said. We just gave some people a chance. A place to stand. That is enough. Somewhere in the Vrexian trading post where this had all started, Kelroth the merchant learned what the ship he had sold for scrap was.